Hello, everybody. Andrew Field here. It has definitely been a minute since I made my last YouTube video. It's actually been about 3 weeks. I'm sorry for the huge delay. I've just been busy and kind of hard to manage my time. But yeah, I've definitely got a lot to go into, so let's get started. First off with colleges. Um, Good news with college news from my home state. University of Illinois has been the best COVID-19 testing operation in the entire United States, authorizing a saliva test which and offers a hybrid model of in-person online classes. So I wanted to give a shout out to them, and also because I'm trying to think of where to go after this year. UIUC, Illinois Urbana-Champaign, represents 20% of all Illinois tests and 1.5% of nationwide tests, which is pretty insane. Excuse me. Students got an initial test, and they get tested twice every week, which is mandatory. The University of Illinois had to limit in-person activities because there was a spike from students partying after knowing they are positive. And that's the scary thing, is that University of Illinois has done a very, very good job in handling it. And there still was a spike because people still chose to go to parties. So even like if you have the best response for COVID at a college, there's still a pretty big chance of something like that happening. So they had to like quarantine the students. So that just shows that for colleges that aren't doing a whole lot, it's a really bad situation. Um, it said that the students were partying after they knew they were positive, which is, I think, excuse me. I think that's one of the craziest things actually to do is knowing that you were positive and going ahead and going to party anyways and putting other people's lives in jeopardy. You have to be really selfish and a disgusting person to do that. Um, oh yeah, the University of Illinois expelled 8 students that didn't listen to public health regulations. From the 31st of August, which is a long time ago, the U.S. hit 6 million COVID cases. I think we're at 6.8 million now. That's why I have the dates to show how fast everything's going. Because during the summer, it slowed down toward the end, but just you wait. Now it's going to pick back up. Other things I didn't mention, India has a lot of deaths and a lot of cases. Same with Brazil, but India is moving even faster than Brazil. So that's really unfortunate, obviously. Not a good thing. But India looks like they're going to pass us, I think, because of how fast their cases are growing. And that just shows you, right? Illinois is like maybe top 5 in population, biggest populations on Earth. India may be the biggest coronavirus cases soon, and they have the second biggest population on Earth. China was like 41st or 43rd in countries with the biggest coronavirus cases. China's disgusting. They're definitely lying about their coronavirus response. And their government needs to be punished with like international sanctions or something. I'm really pissed off about that. Um, at the end of This is crazy. At the end of August 31st, the death toll was at 187,000 people. Okay, with 3.4 million recovered. Just remember that. The last day of August, the death toll is at 187,000. Okay. September 1st, Russia passed 1 million cases. The U.S. said they will not join the World Health Organization in its effort to develop and distribute a vaccine. The U.S. putting itself at odds with its allies, which it's usually doing because of Trump. China, Russia, and Iran deployed spies to steal U.S. vaccine research because, of course, we'd be ahead of them. And then September 9th, the U.S. passed 190,000 coronavirus deaths. And I checked it today, and the U.S. passed 200,000 deaths. So in the span of about 3 weeks, we went from 187,000 coronavirus deaths to 200,000. It's hard to imagine how many people that just got lost from the point of February to September. That's only a 5-month span. That's less than 6 months, and we lost 200,000 people. So if you double that, if it probably, if you double that, so that means in like 10 months it'd be like what, 400,000. So if we had to go through this the whole entire year, January to January, we could have lost like 400 plus thousand people. I mean, it's really sad how many people we've lost from this. Oh yes, I forgot about this. This is how crazy and how fast the news goes. Trump, so Trump had these interviews with this presidential historian, like very famous guy, Bob Woodward, and he wanted to brag. Excuse me. He wanted to brag about how well he was doing, because of course he did. So he accidentally leaked some really damning information, like Trump tape a Trump tape from February said that he deliberately downplayed the severity of coronavirus. Okay, and he said in the interview that he thought coronavirus was much deadlier than the flu. And may I remind you, during this time and later, he was saying the flu was much deadlier than coronavirus, saying you don't need to worry about it, it'll just disappear, it'll go away, all this bullshit, right? Well, in the interview, he said that the coronavirus is way worse than the flu, and he knew that. And he said that he deliberately downplayed the severity of coronavirus because he didn't want people to panic. Because panicking and preparing for it is a lot worse than dying, right? That makes a lot of sense. Biden responded saying it was disgusting, which he should have. And there's a lot more tapes, actually. I think there was only a handful that came out, but there's a lot more tapes that are going to come out probably before the election. Alright. I hope the lighting is okay. I'm sorry, I'm just making this really late, but something happened that I'll get to later on, but it encouraged me, let's say, to come out with this. That was really damning, though, and I meant to post that earlier, so I'm really sorry about that. Because now it's on tape that Trump downplayed the severity of the coronavirus and really screwed all of his supporters. So, they were really stupid for supporting him in the first place. But if you really support a guy who literally said on tape that he downplayed the coronavirus and screwed you over and caused your loved ones to die, you're a different kind of stupid. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Columbia University study showed that social distancing measures put in place 1 week earlier, so Trump knew it was worse if he let go of his ego and he cared about saving the American public. If he put social distancing measures in place 1 week earlier, just 1 week, 7 days, it would have saved 36,000 lives. 36,000 people would still be here today, the study says, if Trump just put the measures in a week before. Okay? In February, you saw Europe get hit hard with coronavirus. You saw Spain. You saw Italy. You saw France. You saw Germany. You saw Great Britain. They were all getting hit hard with coronavirus. Like February and March. And during that time, we could have put social distancing measures in place, and that would have saved thousands, tens of thousands of people. It's absolutely insane. Late testing for a potential vaccine was halted after a patient got an illness. I think it was like a spinal illness. So they ended up resuming testing after like a week or so. The U.S. was trying to rush a COVID vaccine by November 1st because Trump was trying to make it political, like he does with everything. But you wouldn't think he would make a vaccine political because a lot of people are already skeptical about a vaccine. So the fact that you're going to rush it through even more is really stupid, because that means more of the American public is going to refuse to take a vaccine, and that means the vaccine is less likely to be effective and work. So overall, it's just bad, but I'm thinking it probably is going to get pushed out because of this patient that got an illness, so they had to stop, and that's going to halt things up. But if it comes out before the election, definitely not taking it. If it comes out early 2021, it's a possibility, but no way in 2020. There's no way. This year is the shittiest year maybe of all time. There's some close ones, but I mean, geez, I don't know. I would want to wait until next year at least and see what happens. Robert Redfield, the CDC director, said he thinks a COVID vaccine will be available to the American public late second quarter or third quarter of 2021. Second quarter, that's like at least April. That's like, he's saying like the earliest is April 2021 that we should have a COVID vaccine. Like, that's way different than what Trump said. Dwayne The Rock Johnson and his family got COVID. So that was sad, obviously. One person was shot and killed after a group of Trump supporters, a group of Black Lives Matter protesters clashed on the streets of Portland, Oregon. This was pretty old. The person that seemed to be killed. Excuse me, I'm really tired, but I'm gonna push on. The person that was killed in Oregon seemed to be a far right extremist group. It seemed to be a part of that. And Trump was attacking the Portland mayor and governor after the events were public. And the Portland mayor just went off on Trump on this press conference. And he's saying that we have to deal, saying what we have to deal with being Trump, with Trump being our president. Sorry. And the man suspecting of shooting fatally shooting a right-wing protester in Portland, Oregon, was killed by agents attempting to arrest him. The mayor of Rochester, New York, suspended 7 officers over the asphyxiation death of a black man in March. I didn't see all the details, but I think with Breonna Taylor, I think there was some sort of lawsuit. There seemed to be a major development with that, but I missed putting it on here, so I'm sorry. But there did seem to be a major update with that. It may have been some sort of lawsuit or something. Sorry about that. A report found that 93% of Black Lives Matter protests are peaceful. Trump went down to Kenosha, and Joe Biden went down to Kenosha following the shootings and everything like that. The Postal Service watchdog cited concerns surrounding election readiness. Actually, a judge today, I think, just ruled that the post office has to undo the changes it made before. So we'll see how that goes. It might be a long legal battle, but that's a very, very big thing that happened there. Old Navy will pay employees to be poll workers on election day. Vice President Pence is going on a multi-state tour with a powerful anti-abortion group. I think he already did that. Germany said a Russian opposition leader who fell ill on a plane was poisoned by the same substance used on another Putin foe, because Putin kills or poisons everyone that runs against him, even though he rigs it so he wins. Yep. Twitter and Facebook removed accounts linked to a Russian operation to steer left-leaning voters away from Biden. Joe Biden raised over $300 million in August, shattering the record. The poll has Trump and Biden running neck and neck in North Carolina. Let's see. Trump campaigned in Pennsylvania, and I think Biden went to the Midwest a little bit. Trump talked poorly about his generals. The CDC ordered a sweeping halt on eviction through December for people struggling to pay rent due to the pandemic. Congressman Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz a Democrat from Florida, was blocked from touring a mail facility by the Postal Service police. Pelosi made a mistake by visiting a San Francisco hair salon, with their hair salons there being closed indoors and no mask being worn. So that seemed to be a mistake, though I think she said she was set up, so I'm not exactly sure, but it seemed to be a mistake for Pelosi. Because she wasn't wearing her mask inside. Excuse me. New York Governor Cuomo said he can't have, when he was talking about Trump, because he went after him, he said that Trump can't have enough bodyguards to walk through New York City. The former Republican governor of Michigan endorsed Joe Biden. Pelosi and Biden slammed House Minority Whip, obviously Republican Steve Scalise, for a doctored video of an interview of Biden and Barkin that altered the words to try and say Biden wants to defund police, causing fear and division. A.D. Barkin, who has ALS, and he uses a machine to speak. He was talking at the DNC. The NFL season started. The Chiefs and Texans locked arms, and fans were in Kansas City and booed at the social movement, which is really disgusting. But I mean, it is Missouri, so they're a little behind with the times. But it was still pretty disgusting to see on national television. I didn't see it, but I saw clips of it after. I mean, I didn't see it live, but I saw it, and yeah, it was disgusting that there weren't a lot of fans there, but they were booing at people. They weren't kneeling, they were just locking arms. But they didn't like the idea of equality, racial equality. In terms of the NFL, some really surprising games early on, and I appreciate what the NFL is doing. I saw the NFL had this great ad on like giving black players good chances, and they want them to succeed. Basically, that's what I took out of their commercial. So that was really good. In terms of the games, I don't think the Bears did that well, but you know they have some hope. So we'll see. I still hope Trubisky gets pulled, but that's just me. Anyways, Microsoft warned of further election interference from Russia, China, and Iran. And they say that Russia's the worst. Biden and Pence met at a 9/11 memorial. Um, it was the 19th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. Trump spoke at Pennsylvania. Biden did not want to make 9/11 a political day. Harris allowed and Harris I think was in the same spot as Trump. Harris and Biden allowed Animal Crossing players to put Biden-Harris signs outside their houses, which is really genius because, especially if the election is going to be more online, you need to reach these voters. And honestly, Animal Crossing was a brilliant idea, so I love it. 1 in 10 correspondents in this survey say they could not recall the word Holocaust, and pretty incredible that you can't remember such a word. But that shows the lack of history that's going on. So hopefully more people learn about that and don't say it didn't happen. This is what I wanted to talk about. So we lost a lot of good people this year. We always lose good people every year. But 2020, it really hurt, you know? In terms of Kobe Bryant, I didn't know Kobe Bryant, you know, like my parents and a lot of older people that saw him during the game knew about Kobe Bryant. He seemed like a good person, and that's what I think everyone else said too. And I heard a lot of people that he was gone. And Chadwick Boseman, that was really hard. It still is. I mean, what are they going to do with Black Panther 2? What are they going to do with, you know, his acting career was just picking up. Like, he was getting a ton of good movies every year done. It was we are gonna miss him. But added to that list of people we're really gonna miss this year was Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsberg. She passed away today at the age of 87. She died of complications from pancreatic cancer. I just, it's really terrible. I mean, it's good that she got to live a pretty long life, but it's sad that she's no longer with us. Ginsburg was a huge advocate for women's rights, and she was the second woman on the Supreme Court. This definitely was a tragic loss, and America knew it too, because thousands of people gathered outside the Supreme Court in memory of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yeah. I really hope that Trump doesn't get a third pick in the Supreme Court. Yeah. Thank you, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, for everything you've done, and I hope you feel like you're in a better place now. Yeah. Bare-chested women locked themselves to UK Parliament in climate protest. U.S. economy added $1.4 million, the U.S. economy added 1.4 million jobs in the month of August, which is a good number. The economy is still down 11.5 million jobs since March. The unemployment, though, fell below 10% since the pandemic came to the U.S., and it's now at 8.4. So, pretty good news, I guess. But, yeah. A lot going on, like I said. If you did support the video, like the video, please like and subscribe. I really do appreciate any support. And I'll talk to you all in the next one. Have a good day, guys.